It's a beautiful day south of Atlanta, Georgia, and a nice crowd is filing in to see the final round of Crown Royal IROC 29. 12 great racing champions. This man to be crowned the champion of all, but yet there is a race to be run and won. Crown Royal IROC 29 began in Daytona with 12 champions seeking the $1 million first prize. This late race crash took out Scott Pruitt and Sebastian Bourdais, setting up a shootout as Mark Martin passes defending IROC champion Matt Kenseth to score a record 12th series victory. Round 2 in Texas was a car fight in the mile-and-a-half corral. Leader Kurt Busch loses a tire, hits the wall, and IROC rookie Bourdais becomes the first Champ Car driver to win in IROC since 1997. Martin carries a 10-point lead over Bourdais to round 3 at Richmond. As they fight their way to the front, the short track action is intense. Bobby Hamilton spins. Kenseth, Truex, Castroneves provide the sparks. Then Bourdais meets the wall, ending his chances for the championship. Mark Martin gets past Kurt Busch in a photo finish and all but wraps up his record 5th IROC championship. But the vault containing the $1 million prize can't be opened yet. And there's one more trophy left to win. Speed Channel welcomes you to Atlanta Motor Speedway for the final event in the Crown Royal IROC Series for 2005. 12 of the world's best set to take center stage for this final event. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Joy. Mark Martin has only to strap in and hit the starter button to clinch his record 5th IROC championship and bank the $1 million that goes with it. But behind Mark, everybody makes the same amount of money, so the points don't matter. This race is all about bragging rights. So how will IROC's all-time master strategist and race winner tackle this field today? Let's find out from Matt Yoakum.
Mike, as you mentioned, Mark Martin will be $1 million richer in just a few moments, but so many people, Mark, have described the upcoming 65 laps more like a Talladega race.
Yeah, it's going to be something else. These cars really draft big time, and they're a little bit underpowered, or quite a bit underpowered, and they knock a big hole in the air. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. No pressure on me today. Just get a chance to go out there and race for a win.
It's going to be exciting, chasing his 14th series victory.
Thanks, Matt. All season long, series sponsor Crown Royal has sought to honor IROC racers, both present and past. A ceremony Friday introduced the Crown Royal IROC Legends of Victory Lane. All season long, 250,000 votes were cast on the internet and at the Crown Royal Fan Experience trackside. Mario Andretti was named the top open-wheel driver to compete in IROC history. Scott Pruitt, the top road racer, Dale Earnhardt, the top stock car driver, and Steve Kinser, the wild card selection.
Dale really enjoyed competing with the other champion drivers of IROC and getting to know the IROC team members and Jay and Barbara especially. Dale's accomplishments always speak for themselves. And of course, I think it's very deserving, but it actually is very deserving that the IROC Legends of Victory Lane helped to continue the legend of Dale Earnhardt.
I always consider IROC as a highlight in my career in many ways. It's a rare opportunity to compete against champions from so many different categories. And again, to be brought back here and be honored with this award is something that I consider very special and I have a lot of appreciation for.
Two of our IROC legends competing in today's season finale, Scott Pruitt and Steve Kinser. 2 wins, and for you, each had to have been special for different reasons.
Very awesome. Hi to my family at home. Daytona was huge because it was right after my bad accident. And then Riverside, the last race at Riverside, came down to a shootout between me and Roberto Guerrero and managed to get by him in the closing stages. But the last Cup race, the last ever real serious race at Riverside, and I was one of the winners of the IROC race.
And you look at all of the road racing legends that you beat out for this honor.
It's awesome. I mean, you look at just the names are just, yeah, I'm floored. It's been an honor for me, and then to be involved with my peers, Mario Andretti and the late Dale Earnhardt and Steve Kinzer here. I mean, these guys are the top of the top, and it's just been awesome for me.
Now, when you look at Steve Kinzer, all across America, Steve, short track fans, you carry the torch for them, and I don't know what was bigger, for you to win that race at Talladega or for them to see you win that race at Talladega?
Well, that was a big day for a lot of short track drivers and fans across the United States, and a big day for me. We had a great day that day, and still got to thank Al Jr. for getting behind me and pushing me up there, and it was just a big day for me. And like I said, it's just an honor to be in this with the champions out of a lot of divisions, and just tickled to death to be able to do it.
And when you talk about what it means for people to see this man still in IROC, when Matt Kenseth won his first ever IROC race, one of the first things he said, I got a chance to not only race, but beat a legend, Steve Kinzer.
When we return, I sat down with Mark Martin to talk about his role as champion of champions and about this incredible 2005 season he's had, both in IROC and in Nextel Cup.
This is the best time of my life. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life right now.
Speed Channel's coverage of the Crown Royal IROC Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway is presented by Crown Royal. Be a champion. Drink responsibly. As he fires the engine, Mark Martin locks in his 5th IROC title and sets himself apart from the 126 champions from across all of racing that make up the IROC honor roll. Earlier, I had this chance to sit down and talk with Mark. IROC's unique format sounds simple. Bring together the world's racing elite in equally prepared cars and leave the competition up to the drivers. In reality, it's a lot tougher than that. And Mark, as the call comes each year, it gets a little tougher to decide to do this?
The last 2 times I've been invited, I've had to think long and hard about it because my record in IROC was so incredible. The last 8 times I've been invited, I was either first or second in the points, and, I didn't really want to mess that record up.
But you dominated IROC in the 90s, winning everywhere from Charlotte to Darlington to Fontana. And then on a sunny Indiana afternoon, you made history with a record-tying 4th championship at the Brickyard.
Now that was really special, especially at the Brickyard, because passing is really difficult at Indy, and I never really expected to be able to go from the back to the front. It was incredible to be able to pull it off, and it just felt like, I was starting to believe at that point what everyone else was saying, that I was almost invincible in this thing, and it's hard to convince me of something like that.
For convincing, just look to some of the younger drivers coming into IROC for the first time. You're the fellow they seek out for counsel on how to race, how to draft, strategy, and how to win. But in particular, what is it you see about Champ Car champion Sebastian Bourdais?
Well, I really appreciate young people who are modest and are respectful of the ones that come before them. When you're as good as Sebastian, it's pretty easy just to kind of move in and say, get back. I got this. Get out of the way,
Well, now there's another winning racer in the Martin family, your son, Matt. What does he think about all the success you've had in IROC?
I think that Matt understands the significance of IROC in my career. I think that he's as proud of what I've accomplished in IROC as I am, because really, IROC racing has been the highlight of my career.
A humble champion now for the 5th time in IROC history. I'm joined by Larry McReynolds and Jeff Hammond. Larry, I don't think we've ever been faced with this. There's no strategy. The points don't matter. What do we do?
But winning this race matters, and trust me, yeah, it's not about a championship. It's not about money. It's about guys wanting to get an IROC win. You look at Buddy Rice, who's 5th in the points, had a terrible season in IRL. He could redeem himself today here, maybe with an IROC win. I watch for Scott Pruitt. He'll start on the front row. He'd love to get that 3rd win, but trust me, the man possessed to get another IROC win today. Already our champion, Mark Martin, starting at the rear of this field.
And, Jeff, we finished the IROC season at NASCAR's fastest track, where last night Ryan Newman blistered the Speedway at almost 194 miles an hour. So hang on tight.
Definitely hang on tight, Mike. When you come to Atlanta, the good thing about it, and it's already been documented, it's like a mini Talladega. The guys can run high, they can run low. The draft will come into play. You'll see some guys bump drafting down the back straightaway. But you've also got to take care of your tires just a little bit. We will have a mandatory pit stop to change those tires, but in the meantime, you got to use a little bit of strategy to go along with a lot of speed.
The starting lineup inverse of the point standings. So Mark Martin will be tail end Charlie when they drop the green flag here, along with his Roush Racing Nextel Cup stablemate Kurt Busch. But ahead of them, 10 other drivers who all want to put their own mark in the IROC record book. They'll go green next time by.
All the NASCAR boys at the top of the points at the rear of the field. You know what? There's a little bit of that here today, I think. Some of the open wheel guys versus NASCAR, throwing a few World of Outlaw guys and a few road racers. So there's a little bit of that going on here today.
On board, Martin Truex Jr., the Busch Series champion and point leader. Danny the Dude Lasowski, coming off another strong season in the World of Outlaws. And Max Pappas, the road racer for Cadillac, who will start this race in 4th position as the pace vehicle heads for pit road. 65 green flag laps with a competition caution at lap 40 and a mandatory tire change. Here we go, green flag.
And you heard Mark Martin talk about this. The draft works here. They run these cars around here almost wide open on the throttle, so these cars definitely, as big of a hole as they punch in there, the draft plays a huge role.
The guys that we see, Helio Castaneros, this nose out just a little bit off of turn 2 on the outside of Scott Pruitt. Scott Pruitt comes back on the inside, which is a pretty good gap from the front 5 guys in the remainder of the field. So it's going to be interesting to see if that draft kind of brings them right back up into play, and already got cars looking to the outside.
3 wide, high, wide, and on the outside, Bobby Hamilton, champion of the NASCAR Truck Series, in the number 4.
And Mike, Bobby Hamilton told me, he said, Jeff, I worked the high lane an awful lot during practice. He said, I think that's going to be the way I'm going to make my way to the front.
From Danny Lasowski, Max Pappas ahead, along with Steve Kinzer. Boy, Kinzer and Lasowski nose to tail. How many times have we seen that over the years?
I mean, that's what's great about this racetrack right here. I mean, look at the different grooves.
Pappas on the outside there. Hello right in the middle.
Oh, and Hamilton thought about 4 wide and thought better of it. Yeah, but they are 4 wide.
It'll work on the straightaways, but not in the corners.
Max Pappas told me he and Elio talked about trying, because you're going to have to conserve your tires today until that yellow. They were just going to try to lay in line together so that way they wouldn't get drop kicked to the back. And right now you can see it's 4 wide.
Whoa, but look at this pack. Conserve will not fit in this bucket.
We've already said it, Mike. This is the last race. What's out there right now? Nothing but a checker flag at the end. Oh, man, get squeezed up, got car bouncing off the wall.
Scott Pruitt got up into the number 15 of Buddy Rice, who brushed the wall, but doesn't look
to the right front. Not too bad, though.
No.
And that's the thing. This racetrack is plenty wide enough for 3 or 4 cars. But, Jeff, you referenced it to like Daytona and Talladega. These cars move around. This track is very bumpy.
Very bumpy right now. You see a lot of these guys trying to see, okay, let's see if we can get settled down a little bit, boys. We got this race started. Let's get ourselves into a little bit of a rhythm here and start sorting things out.
Well, you'll have to tell those 5 cars under a blanket fighting for 2nd place, because they're not having it.
But, Mike, do you think there's a big smile on Max Pappas' face right now as he leads this group around?
But a lot like at Daytona, you do not want to get too big of a lead, because those guys will line up and gang up on him.
Hey, they're coming. I promise you that right now. They're coming.
You may have to explain the concept of line up, Larry, because I think it's line up 3 or 4 abreast, not single file. Riding with Martin Truex. There's Castroneves still in the middle. Pruitt 0-1 outside. Kinzer in the green and white 11 on the bottom.
Truex in a 97 car of Kurt Busch right now. They're working together right now. They're trying to make a run right now, I think, on Kenseth.
I mean, you've got to love it. We're 5 laps into this race. All 12 competitors within 3/4 of a second of each other.
Lead change coming. And it's Hamilton pounding along on the outside. As he predicted, he gets past Mad Max.
Now Bobby Hamilton in the 4 car, as we were riding with Max Pappas, he's moved it down to the bottom of the racetrack now that he has the lead.
And suddenly, everybody gets a case of let's get in line.
And just remember, guys, these drivers, they have no spotter. It's mirrors and seat of the britches.
That's right. The only radio communication is one way from race director David Hoots in the control tower. Although if they have a problem, they can talk to the IROC mechanics on pit road on a second channel.
A lot of shuffling going on out there right now, guys. Guys who started up front are finding their way toward the back, and guys who are in the back are making their way toward the front. Just like I say, Kurt Busch, Martin Truex Jr., they're all moving and trying to make a run up here and gain some ground and get around Pappas and take that lead. Bobby Hamilton right now on the outside just took the lead.
Mark Martin is up to 6th. He's climbed halfway through this field.
I mean, he passed about 3 or 4 cars through 3 and 4 on the high side that last lap.
And now he's going to get past. Well, I thought he was, but he came up high to cover the spot. For the lead, Castroneves inside of Bobby Hamilton.
Mike, I think he's going to need a little bit of help down on that bottom side right now. When he come off of turn 4, I think Bobby's going to beat him back to the start-finish line.
Well, you heard Mark Martin talk about these cars. They don't have a tremendous amount of power. When you can run the high side, you keep the engine wound up. You keep the RPM up.
Oh, by the way, Mark Martin is now 4th, racing for 3rd.
And I want to point out one other thing. With Bobby Hamilton out front right now, guys, remember, he was very good at places like Daytona and Talladega.
Martin Truex Jr., the 8 car, he just got into the outside wall coming off, too. It's like the car picked up a push, and he couldn't get the car turned. We were riding with him as it happened.
Here he comes. Took him 9 laps from worst to first. Here comes the 6 of Mark Martin. He has Scott Pruitt up underneath Bobby Hamilton.
Oh, contact right there between the 03 car of Helio Castroneves and Truex getting down into turn 1.
Is Bourdais going to take it 4 wide? Yes, he is, off turn 2. Bourdais in the number 2 with Matt Kenseth.
Least we forget who won Texas, a lot like Atlanta.
Sebastian Bourdais.
All right.
Martin for the lead. Takes it at the line in 10 laps. And Bobby Hamilton right on the outside, dragging Scott Pruitt with him. What a great battle here in Atlanta. 13 laps complete. Mark Martin leads from Bobby Hamilton. Coming up next on Speed, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Dennis Setzer, bad luck last week, vaulted Ted Musgrave into the point lead with just 4 races left. Mike Skinner's on the pole for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Next, live, only on Speed.
Now, Kurt Busch in the 97 car, he went to the low side, and he squeezed up between Mark Martin and Bobby Hamilton. And just remember, Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth, they're tied for 2nd coming into this race in the points.
And Larry, right now, watching Bobby Hamilton, he was up there right behind Mark Martin, and all of a sudden, he has been kicked almost all the way to the back. He got a problem, guys. See smoke come out of the 4 car.
Big puff of smoke as he entered turn 3. And Hamilton in danger of losing the lead draft. No matter. Caution has come out. For the first time, they do not race back to the caution in IROC, and caution laps do not count.
65 green laps. I mean, Bobby Hamilton started out in great shape this year, finishing 3rd at Daytona, 5th in Texas, an early accident at Richmond, and now problems here at Atlanta.
Top of your screen on the left. You see that big puff entering turn 3. Oh, there it was from Scott Pruitt and Matt Kenseth due to contact. It wasn't from Hamilton.
So far we've completed 14 laps in this IROC race here, the 65 laps this afternoon. So the field under caution is for the home race.
There's the big start from Hamilton's car.
I think he's thinking, man, the guy's getting ready to wreck each other. So he hit the brakes a little bit hard, and we saw smoke come off of that.
I want to say hello to the nearly 800,000 men and women in uniform stationed overseas in 177 countries. And aboard our ships at sea, we're watching today's race on AFN, the American Forces Network. We're proud to have you with us. I want you to know that America stands behind you.
It looks like Buddy Rice in the 15 car is going to pit here under this caution, and I think Matt Yoakum knows why.
Well, Larry Mack, you saw him brush the wall earlier. Now Buddy telling Jay Signori on the radio, because they can talk back and forth with the IROC crew, like Mike mentioned, that he thinks the toe is knocked out on the right front. IROC mechanics, the first pit, Jim Meister will lead this crew as they check the toe. The second IROC crew ready in case Bobby Hamilton wants to hit pit road. They can raise that hood and take a look at his car just to make sure everything is okay. They're now, you can see Jim Meister trying to straighten that wheel so they can get a better gauge, Larry Mack, on checking that right front.
Now, just to explain toe out, what that is, it's the differential between the width between the rear of the front tires and the front of the front tires. You normally will run about an 1/8 inch of toe out. So normally when you hit that wall, as it looks like Buddy Rice has done, it will toe it in and make the car where it's not very stable.
Yeah, if you watch right here, you see the mechanic, he's got a tape measure in his hand right here. He's going to read the measurement at the back of the rear tire. He'll pull the tape measure back out, come around. You watch him, he'll slide it back to the front side. Watch it go. Here's the tape measure again. He's going right through there. And that will tell him the difference between the rear and the front of the tire, and they'll make an adjustment accordingly.
They'll adjust the tie rod to get the toe out back right.
And since the caution laps do not count, Buddy Rice will stay on the lead lap. He finished in the top 5 in the first 3 races this season. 14 of 65 laps are complete in Atlanta, and it's been wild so far. Look at the right side of Martin Truex's car. You see the body damage and the stripes on those tires. Red right return, as they say nautically. So the red striped tires go on the right side and green striped tires on the left side. Matt, going to be a little body repair here too, as we get a look at Martin Truex going up and taking a good bit of paint off the wall here in Atlanta.
Got into it pretty hard.
It's like he couldn't get the car turned. You could hear him trying to roll out of the throttle to get the thing to turn.
Truex from Mayetta, New Jersey, the Busch Series champion and currently the point leader with 3 races to go.
Now we saw him making some repair to the left front fender, and what they were doing on that left front fender, they were actually making some repair to what they call the gnat ear, the little flange that sticks out in front of the left front fender to create a little more downforce. You can see right here where all the tape is. That's a little bit of a wicker bill almost. Helps to plant the left front, makes the cars turn a little bit better, and they were making repairs to that to make the car drive a little bit better for Mark Truex.
How big is a gnat's ear?
I'm just telling you, that's what Jay and his guys have now coined the phrase. It's a gnat's ear.
And we need to make mention, every restart in the IROC series, now we'll have a little unique restart after that competition yellow, but every restart is double file. So that's the reason you see Mark Martin in the 6 on the inside, Kurt Busch in the 97 on the outside of the front row.
Getting set for the restart. Let's check with Matt.
Mike, to keep a level playing field, we've talked about how tires are so important, especially here at Atlanta. Now, IROC has a system in place. You don't get a sticker set, brand new set of tires if you should happen to pit. Instead, they've got sets of tires by laps. The set of tires they put on under this stop, 11 laps were on each set, so 11 lap scuffs for the cars that just pitted.
Yeah, because if they put sticker tires on Martin Truex Jr. or on Buddy Rice, I mean, they'd zip through that field like the field was not even there. Because tires are so important.
And it used to happen until they changed that rule and mounted up scuffed tires. A fellow named Earnhardt, I believe. I want tires.
Give me tires now.
But you got to commend Jay and his group here for being able to go and do that, because it takes a lot of work to kind of like figure out we got to have tires with like 11 laps, 20 laps, 30 laps, whatever, to make sure the field stays level as we watch these guys get ready to come back to restart.
Kurt Busch on the outside of Mark Martin, trying to hold on to second in the IROC points. Scott Pruitt, the Grand Am road racer, right behind him. Steve Kinzer, the green car on the inside.
Scott Pruitt says, I'm going to stay on this rear bumper of this 97 car, Kurt Busch.
And he's got Matt Kenseth with him, and then Castor Nevins in the outside lane.
And normally you would expect getting up to speed, especially after restart, as we have a little bump draft here going down the back straightaway, that the outside line would prevail. But looks like right now, Mark Martin in that 6 car on the bottom, he's going to hold the lead.
Like I told you guys, it's like a mini Daytona or Talladega, complete with bump drafting down the back straightaway.
Riding with Martin Truex Jr. Remember, he made that pit stop a while ago. Right now, he's in the 7th position.
Fighting with Castroneves high on the outside. Truex. Busch has slid back even with Steve Kinser for second. And what's up with Matt Kenseth in the 17?
Starting to fall back.
Last year's IROC champion.
They crossed the start-finish line the last time. He was up in the 6th position. This is a great shot right here. Bumper cam.
Guys, we haven't talked a lot about it, but there could be a little strategy being played out here right now. I noticed that Danny Lasowski, Bobby Hamilton's back here at the back right now. I know he just recently changed tires, but you see Matt Kenseth, all of a sudden he's back at the back. I'm just wondering if we're thinking about, we still got a long ways to go before we have that mandatory pit stop.
I think there was a little talk at the beginning of the show about a little bit of tire management. What do you think, Matt?
Larry Mack, you are exactly right. And that's the one thing that lead IROC test driver Dave Marcus preached every day during practice. You've got to take care of your tires for that whole 40-lap segment, because Larry Mack, I think you mentioned one time, it was like an Oreo cookie. If you eat the center, you don't have much left for a cookie, and that's exactly what he preached to these guys. Elio a little close to the wall, guys.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of them.
Martin Truex coming off turn 4, tried to stick his nose where it wouldn't fit, and now gives Castroneves a little bump down going into turn 3.
Little love tap, and he tries to get underneath it. Elio's would go through 3 and coming off of turn 4. And oh, by the way, the guy out front is still Mark Martin.
Surprise. Not.
But he's getting a lot of pressure right now from his teammate, Kurt Busch. And again, if you think back to Richmond, we saw a great battle with these two.
Now, it looks right now as if the low groove is not the place to be. Max Pappas slid back a bit. Truex tried it on the bottom, and so now everyone is lined up pretty much single file.
Yeah, I mean, the one that has been running the bottom since he took the lead is Mark Martin, that 6 car, but it looks like he's making sure he has someone tougher right behind him. But I'll tell you what, I'm pretty impressed with that run by Steve Kinser in that 11 car right now, up there in the 3rd position. Just wrapped his 20th World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series championship just a few days ago.
A good run for Truex on the bottom. He has been the raciest of the IROC drivers today. Up to the front, to the back. The 97, Busch comes down to block. Here comes Pruitt underneath Truex.
Yeah, Scott Pruitt was almost in the apron in that 01 car.
He made enough room for himself.
Put a little bit of a slide job on Truex, too, at the same time. He said, let me just have a little more racetrack.
But Martin Truex Jr. in that black 8 car, he has definitely been slicing through this field since that restart.
Well, those may be 11-lap tires, but they are cooler tires than anyone else had on the restart. Second place in question right now as Truex goes after Kurt Busch. There they are, side by side behind race leader Mark Martin with 20 laps complete in the final round of Crown Royal IROC 29 on Speed. A lead change with Martin Truex Jr. coming to the front. Those tires they put on that car worn, but apparently being somewhat cool, have kind of raised the question mark among the other drivers about coming for tires. Now behind these two, it's a wad. Once again, Sebastian Bourdais, the yellow number 2, working the inside of Scott Pruitt and Bobby Hamilton. Kurt Busch leads this pack. And yet Danny Lasowski and Buddy Rice content to hang out in the back of the pack. For now,
Danny's kind of closed back up here just a little bit. But again, I'm going to go back and say that some of these guys told me early on they were going to try to save their tires until we got down to about halfway through this run and just start trying to put some pressure on, because we do have a mandatory pit stop coming up, but you want to be up toward the front if at all possible.
Well, I think they better turn it up, because we only have 14 laps to go to that mandatory caution. And right now, Martin Truex Jr. in the 8, Mark Martin in the 6, they're driving away. But just you talk about these points. 2nd through 6th in the points came into this race only separated by 4 points. One of those drivers is Martin Truex Jr. up there. Right. And remember, at lap 4 40, there's bonus points, 3, 2, and 1 for finishing first, second, and third. So this is big for Martin Truex Jr.
You can already see right now he's moved into second place in front of Kurt Busch as well as Matt Kenseth.
It's the battle for third right there. Kurt Busch in the 97 car squeezes in front of Helio Castroneves in the 03. That's the battle for third. And look right behind that green car, now to the high side. Remember, that's Bobby Hamilton in the 4 car. He had the problem earlier, so he's working through the field.
What are you fond of saying? We'll have comers and goers.
Absolutely. We've had that in this race.
Well, guys, I know we talk about the points, but I guarantee you right now all these guys are thinking about one thing and one thing only, especially that young man out front. Realize he's a rookie in the IROC race. What more impressive of a way to finish your year off than to beat Mark Martin, arguably the greatest IROC racer ever, and get your first win at Atlanta.
A win and bragging rights.
And bragging rights.
This year, 5 of the 12 invitees to the Crown Royal IROC Series are in it for the first time. Pappas, Hamilton, Bourdais, Rice,
little
and
contacts.
Yeah, Castroneves in the 03 got in the outside wall, turn 2, and he turned it off of it. He turned right into Steve Kinser in the 11 car, the green car.
Again, no spotters, but when he turned it off there, they made contact. Got to look at that rearview mirror a little bit closer, maybe.
Especially with no radios, no spotter to help, and big blind spots in all of these big cars.
This is what happened over off turn 2. You see Castroneves up against the wall. He turns it off the wall. Up, Steve Kinser in the 11 cars right there. Kinser's going, what are you doing?
Bourdais keeps trying to make something happen in that number 2, but he doesn't have a lot of help down near the white line on the inside.
I've seen him try to work up the racetrack, and his car doesn't seem like he wants to work upstairs like a lot of them, so he's had to be kind of patient, Mike, but he's definitely got a fast race car. I've been watching lap times. He's got one of the fastest cars out there right now.
In 10 laps, the competition caution, where all these cars will get brand new tires and then have a 25-lap run for the checkers and the $1 million. Martin Truex Jr. leads Mark Martin, Kurt Busch, Helio Castroneves, and Steve Kinser ahead of Bourdais, Pruitt, Hamilton, Kenseth, and Lasowski. One of our IROC rookies got to celebrate last Sunday. That's Sebastian Bourdais, the driver from Le Mans, France, celebrating and bowing to the crowd for clinching his 2nd straight Champ Car championship.
You know, the biggest thing, Mike, 9 consecutive top 5 finishes, and he's completed all but 1 lap of 1,240 laps in the Champ Car Series this year.
And moments ago,
extremely close to that outside wall. He just made a good move a second ago coming off of turn 4 and moved up from 6th up to 5th position as he went around Steve Kinser.
Jeff, I definitely believe Sebastian Bourdais, I believe he paid attention to Dave Marcus. I think he saved some tires, and right now he's a contender as we've got 5 laps to go to maybe at least get up there to that 3rd position.
This is what I've been watching, Larry. He's been able to make runs down into the turn and at the same time be able to drive it to the bottom when he gets ready. Oh, we got contact right there coming off of turn 4 between Bobby Hamilton and Steve Kinser.
Hamilton in the 4 getting up against the back bumper of the World of Outlaws king, the sprint car king. Just ahead of them, they're 3 wide. Bourdais on the bottom looking for 3rd place from Castroneves and Kurt Busch.
He just lost a little momentum right there coming off that bottom of turn 2 right there and cost him down the back straightaway wide. Kurt Busch went to the high side, and he made the pass on the Castroneves.
And Bourdais, he's been working the bottom of the racetrack almost this entire race in that 2 car.
3 laps to the competition yellow. And it is Busch that leads that 3rd place pack. Truex, the race leader, Mark Martin in 2nd. And a lot of distance there, but look for 3rd place. Now it's getting dicey. Bourdais again on the bottom.
His car is really making a strong run off the bottom right there. Now he's got some help with Helio right now, pushing him down the back straightaway.
And Martin Truex Jr., he needs Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth not to finish in those bonus points here. That will help him because it looks like he's going to get some bonus points.
And Bourdais squirts out from that pack with Hamilton now 4th in the 4, Castroneves 5th, Busch 6th, Pruitt 7th, Kenseth 8th, Kinser, Lasowski, Pappas, and Rice.
This has been pretty impressive by Sebastian Bourdais. It was not that many laps ago. He was sitting back there in about 9th or 10th.
Well, you can see why Mark Martin is a big fan of this young man. And so are a lot of folks after that breakthrough IROC victory in Texas, which came at the expense of Kurt Busch, who cut down a tire while leading. Bourdais picked up that win, and he's made a lot of fans here in NASCAR land. 1 lap to the competition caution. Everyone will get tires, and then we'll have the unique lane choice restart procedure. Kinser way to the bottom without gaining much ground.
And of course, this fight here is just for starting position on that restart for those final 25 laps.
Riding with Danny Lasowski. Truex completes the 40th lap in first, 1.5 seconds in front of Mark Martin. Bourdais will be third. Hamilton, Castroneves, and Pruitt. Then this group.
Yeah, Kurt Busch in the 97 got kicked all the way back to 7th position. Wasn't that many laps ago. He was sitting there running third.
And the field is put under yellow on the back straightaway. So now the tire carts roll out, and every driver will receive 4 fresh tires, and then we'll have an interesting procedure to line them back up. Where they are might not be where they'll be.
And regardless of how your car's driving, all you're going to get is 4 fresh tires. Looks like to me they're all driving pretty equal, though.
Pretty equal, but the interesting part of this whole thing now is, Larry, with only 15 laps to go, everybody, when they get this thing and they drop the green, drop it, they'll be able to go, go hard. Won't have to worry about tires no more.
Martin Truex Jr. has come from back to front, and he leads at the break. We'll be back with more of Crown Royal IROC 29 live from Atlanta. Speed Channel coverage of the Crown Royal IROC Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway is presented by Crown Royal. Be a champion, drink responsibly. We're under the competition caution as Jay Signori, the president of IROC, not just directs but participates in the servicing of these cars. Jay was once a young, promising road racer, competed and often beat the likes of Mark Donahue and others on the East Coast. But he found that his true calling came from the other side of pit wall. Earlier, Matt Yoakum caught up with Jay.
Members have suited up for battle in IROC cars prepared by a legend, Jay Signori. Now, Jay has been involved in auto racing for 3.5 decades, and he's done so much through the years, especially in the area of innovation, like helping to develop the radial tire for stock car use. But he's left his fingerprint involved in this more so with people he's taken from short tracks all across America, handed them a broom, and then helped guide them through their careers. And Jay, we'd like to bring in an IROC class member from 1983, Ray Everdam, and a lot of your other former IROC mechanics for a special recognition. Ray, you have the honor.
Thank you. And Jay, got some of the guys together here, and there's a bunch more of us out there, but we just wanted to say for almost 30 years now, you've been giving guys a chance to come down and get involved in professional racing and teaching and mentoring. And I know that I appreciate it as Michael and Wally, but there's a lot of people that are here in the Cup and Busch and truck garages today that wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And we just wanted to, on behalf of everybody, present you with this plaque and thank you after 30 years of service, and let the folks out there know that most of those gray hairs on Jay's head, that we put them on there.
Go ahead and read that plaque.
Okay. Presented to Jay Signori, October 29th, 2005, in recognition for all that you have accomplished in motorsports. For 4 decades, you have left your mark on the world of motor racing like no other. You have taught us your work ethic, value system, and passed on to us your never-ending attention to detail, all the while stressing other tools to success like preparation, passion for perfection, and the determination to succeed with a winning spirit. Each and every day as we go about our various jobs in racing, we carry with us these qualities learned from you. Any success we have achieved is due in large part to you, Jay. We are proud to be called the graduates of the Jay Signori School of Racing.
Thank you, Jay.
You guys, I'll tell you, Michael, it's really neat to get this. I mean, I think about, I hope you guys aren't trying to put me out the pasture. I mean, it's been great. Without you guys coming to the shop and without working with you, that's what made life worthwhile, going in every day to see everybody go on board. And, you know, the great thing is to see that you guys have come down here, worked in the South, and you've all succeeded in your own rights. And I think that's what I get my pride in. And it's nice that you think about me. And some days, you know, when you're kind of getting up there a little bit, you think they just lied you out the pasture and let you go chewing that hay and relax. But I still have fun coming to the races, and most exciting thing is watching your success. And I wish you all the best of success in the future. And you all have families, you have kids, almost. But you're working on it. But thanks again, guys. Thank you.
Now, Ray, what has he taught you the most?
Really taught me the most thing was work ethic and be organized. It's not only about working hard, it's about working smart. But you know, he's taught us all a lot of lessons. But his attention again to detail. But that work ethic and having an organized plan, and as you go into things and as you take on a project, still to the day, starting teams, whatever it is, I use a lot of what Jay's taught me. And this is after for 30 years for us, but after 50 years, we're going to tell him all the things that he doesn't know. Matty, maybe about, as you know, we kind of left you out, being the broadcaster who started at IROC and didn't know which way the lug nuts went on.
Yeah. You know what? He has been like a father to all of us, and he is indeed an IROC legend and a true Hall of Famer.
There's another legend, Matt. Where is she? Hey, Barb. Barb. This is the one that gave me all my support day to day, put up with all my garbage, and on a ride home, it'd be tough because she'd be complaining about Michael, or she'd be complaining about Bobby, or she'd be complaining about Ray. But yeah, it's really neat. It's a neat family, and that's what makes this style of racing fun, because it's all one big family.
It is indeed, truly a big IROC family.
Thank you. That's nice of you.
That's so true, Matt. IROC is a family of racers, the 12 drivers that are invited, and all the folks up in Tinton Falls, New Jersey, that work under these cars under Jay and Barbara Signori's direction. We'll be right back. The pit stops completed without incident. We'll get an update from Matt in a moment, and we're set to go green in one lap. Now it gets really interesting. Martin Truex is the race leader. He can choose to start on the inside or outside of the front row. Let's assume he chooses the inside of the front row, position 1. Mark Martin can then choose the outside of the front row or the inside of row 2 behind Truex. Bourdais gets to choose which lane he wants to start in, and so on and so on.
And I believe, you know, Mark Martin will pick whatever part of the front row Martin Truex Jr. does not take. I think Bourdais will go to the bottom, and Bobby Hamilton in the 4. I think he will go to the top, because it appears that's where their cars have been working.
That's exactly where I know he wants to go. He told me, like I say, early on today, that that's where his car, where he likes to run, put it that way. I know they don't get a chance to drive the cars they're in right now, except during the race, but in practice, he said that's where I worked on finding my line off of these turns.
So Martin lines up behind Truex. Bourdais.
That's a no-brainer for Bourdais then, because now he gets to go to the front row.
Along with Mark Martin right there. Martin Truex. I wonder what kind of thought process right now. These two guys are going to try to work together on this restart.
So Bourdais was third after the pit stops. He will restart outside the front row.
I'm a little surprised at Mark going behind Truex Jr. and giving up the front row. A little surprised at that.
Who's the master of IROC strategy?
Not Larry Mack.
Mark Martin. Let's see how it plays out. They'll race 25 laps.
Now, tire conservation maybe a little bit, but remember, this is only 25 laps.
You can't afford to let these leaders get away like they did the last time, guys. So everybody will be up on the wheel trying a little harder.
Speaking up on the wheel, look at Bobby Hamilton in the 4 car. They're making it 3 wide already off turn 2.
Push, push, push.
He didn't get a very good start at all, guys.
He had no help at all up there.
And he got hung out because Kurt Busch was pushing the 2 of Bourdais, and Kenseth in the 17 was pushing Busch. There was nowhere for Hamilton to get back in line.
Here comes Bourdais, though, on the outside, side by side with our race leader, Martin Truex Jr. He wants to lead.
And he has help. Kurt Busch is with him. Then Kenseth. then Pappas on the outside.
And Kurt Busch in the 97, he's the one that has come through there in a hurry. And look at Matt Kenseth now in the 17 car.
But Larry, look at the run Bourdais got off of turn 2 right there down the back straightaway. He pulls out in front of Truex just a little bit as we enter turn 3.
Mark Martin dives to the inside right behind this threesome. Side by side with Kenseth.
You got to believe off of turn 4 right now is where Bourdais may get a little bit of a run on Truex. Fights back on the inside.
But he's getting a push from Kurt Busch in the 97. And here comes Mark Martin in the 6 to push Martin Truex Jr. back up there.
You can throw a blanket on all 12 cars right now, guys.
Yeah, 0.6 of a second.
Three wide, Busch to the outside.
We talked about the bonus points at the end of that first 40 laps. There's bonus points for leading laps, too. So those points could be important.
Boy, Kurt Busch swept to the outside, and it was like Bourdais' yellow car fell into the sucker hole. And back it went.
No help. Ooh. They just run out of racetrack over there off turn 2. Matt Kenseth in the 17 pushing Kurt Busch in the 97. We talked about it earlier. These guys came into this race tied for second in points.
Mark Martin with the championship locked up. Everybody here is just in it to win it. Win this race, that is. That's all that's at stake here. Second through 12th in this series pay exactly the same.
Busch in the 97 threw the block on Bourdais that time off of turn 2.
Yeah, this nice friendly after you. No after you racing. That was over in the first half.
Tell you what, we're riding with Matt Pappas right now in the 16 car. He's up to the 6th position. He had never seen Atlanta until he got here earlier in the week. That was a bump draft right there.
Hello, Matt Kenseth. Gave Matt a little love tap right about that time.
This group back there, 4th, 5th, 6th, they can't afford to run side by side too much because Truex Jr., Martin, and Busch, they'll get away as they did in that first segment.
And Bourdais continues to backslide, caught in the middle. Has to lift.
He had to lift that time. It was not going to work off turn 4.
Yeah, Max Pappas got to run on the inside there and basically come across his nose and didn't give him a whole lot of choice.
They call him Mad Max. He's the nicest guy, but there was that Mel Gibson movie, you know.
But he loves this IROC racing.
Guys, let's don't forget, he led early on in this event, so he probably wants to get back real close to the front again.
And Bourdais in the 2 still in the sucker hole in the middle. He just cannot get out of the middle of this pack.
Oh, he and Buddy Rice got together. And Buddy Rice's car spent a lot of time on pit road during the caution. What were they doing?
Mike, the IROC crew spent most of their time on the left front. He had a fender rub, had worn the tire all the way down to the radio. Now they had a Sawzall trying to trim part of the fender, which had been broken when he had some contact out on the racetrack. He should be good to go now, though.
17 laps to go this time by. Martin Truex continues to hold off Mark Martin. Laps to go in the 29th running of the Crown Royal International Race of Champions Series. 4 races in 12 equally prepared cars among the world's best drivers. Martin Truex, the Busch champion, leading Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Mark Martin, and Max Pappas. From Afghanistan to Zimbabwe, from Korea to Kosovo, our men and women in uniform around the globe. Following today's race on AFN, the American Forces Network, all of us at Speed Channel salute you, stand behind you.
It was not that many laps ago. Pretty much Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth in the 17 ganged up on their NASCAR teammate Mark Martin, drove by him, but now they're up there slicing. They're not working together anymore because the laps are running down. 12 to go.
7 cars at the front in it to win it. Here comes Castro-Neves. The nose of his IROC racer already pretty bruised from bump drafting. There you see it.
Mike, if he gets a little bit of a run down his back straightaway, I'm sure he'll give Mark Martin another little push as they go off into turn 3.
Martin Truex Jr. in that 8 car, he's trying to lock up those bonus points for leading the most laps at 5 points. That'd be pretty important to him. To go.
Castro-Neves up on the high groove. Now is he looking for room, cooling his tires? What?
He's looking for a way to go by that 6 car.
He's trying to get that momentum, and right now he is looking to see whether or not he can get the high side of Mark Martin one more time. Now he's content to fall right back down behind him, Mike, and follow him through 3 and 4. These guys are hunting and searching, I think, all over the place, trying to find some speed.
Meanwhile, the Roush-Coutiers running 2nd and 3rd look like they're joined by a trailer hitch, tow bar.
And if they go by Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car, it will have to be where they're at right now on the high side, because Truex has that car tied to the bottom of the racetrack in the corners.
And Larry, we watched enough races here in Atlanta to know that that outside can be pretty fast in the closing stages of a race.
Oh yeah, we've seen that many times.
5 cars in the lead pack now, then 4 single file. Pruitt, Pappas, Lasowski, and Bourdais trying to run them down.
We talked about those bonus points for leading. Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car, he has clinched the most laps led, which would be 5 bonus points for him.
Jam up in the front pack as Kenseth gets side by side with Busch. Here comes Mark Martin, and that's going to bring that 2nd pack of 4 cars right up to the leader.
That was textbook bump draft. At the end of the straightaway, he bumped Kurt Busch right back up in front of Matt Kenseth in the 17.
Mark needs the same thing to happen right now with Helio Castro-Neves, but he goes to the inside. Looks like he's trying to give help to Kenseth instead of Mark Martin.
The fellow who loves seeing this is Castro-Neves, because if they're side by side, he and the gold car, Scott Pruitt, can close right in.
Well, you know who else loves it? That man in that black 8 car. He says, you guys go ahead and run side by side. I'm going to drive off in the sunset 3 wide off into turn 3.
And now 8 cars fight for the 2nd spot.
Castro-Neves is trying to figure out where I need to go. There's the hand signal. Come on, come on.
Or go away, go away. One of the 2.
Mark Martin gets that bump draft from his teammate, Kurt Busch. He clears Matt Kenseth down into turn 1 and regains 2nd place.
But they're 3 wide once again.
And guys, now looking for on the top side, a man we haven't talked a whole lot about, the number 20 car with Lasowski. You're on board with him looking back at Bourdais.
He's in the 7th position right now in the 20 car.
Six laps to go.
There you see Kurt Busch in the 97 car. He has really been kicked back to the 5th position now.
He can get out just a little bit and pick it right back up. Keeps the car right on the bottom, trying to get underneath Kurt Busch.
If you make that move, you may pass 1 car, but you're going to draw 3 or 4 others right up to you in the midst of that battle.
And right now, Mark Martin in the 6th car up there running in 2nd. He really needs the help of his NASCAR teammate, Matt Kenseth, if they want to catch Martin Truex Jr. 5 to go this time.
And there on that last lap, Mark Martin was 3/10 quicker than Martin Truex.
0.8 of a second, 1st to 2nd.
That's what you call a blink of an eye. It's inside right there with Mark Martin. Our 2005 IROC champion right there, just kind of holding a pretty wheel right now, trying to catch Martin Truex in that 8 car up in front of him.
4 to go this time.
And the gap, 0.8 of a second last lap, stays the same.
Right now, our top 5, 6, 7 cars, they are all running the shortest distance around the racetrack, right around the bottom.
Somebody's got to run back about 6th place. It's Bobby Hamilton in the 4, and here comes Bourdais in the deuce.
trying to get around Scott Pruitt. The 01 car, that's a battle for 6th.
Pruitt named to the IROC all-time team as its best road racer, ahead of names like Burley Haywood and Mark Donahue.
Bobby Hamilton in the 4 car, he just pushed Pruitt by Bourdais.
That time by right there, Mark Martin once again cuts just a little bit of the lead away from Martin Truex, but I don't know if he's got enough laps to be able to catch it and pass it.
It's about a half a second right now. They'll be coming around me. 2 to go.
This battle for 5th place, the best on the racetrack. The front 4 are single file. Oh, Hamilton's going to ruffle up Pruitt's rear bumper there.
And Bourdais in the 2, he will not give up on the bottom of the racetrack.
Bobby's trying to make some room up top.
He's about to run out of room up there.
Bobby, there's no cushion up there. I hate to tell you that.
These guys, they'll not roll out of the throttle. It'll be white flag, 1 to go this time.
Last lap of the 4-race season for the Crown Royal International Race of Champions. And Martin Truex Jr., who was last in this race at one point and had to make a pit stop, has gone to the front.
But
Still a lot of contact.
Here's the battle right here. This is for 5th position. Bobby Hamilton all the way up against the wall off turn 2.
Didn't cost him. He never lifted.
And look at Bourdais.
There he goes. And Pruitt takes a hard shot into the wall.
So does Hamilton.
Racing to the flag.
Because this was behind all of our leaders.
The caution was waving, but the checker waves with it. As the incident happened behind the lead pack, Martin Truex Jr. has won the final round. Ahead of Mark Martin and Matt Kenseth, and I see Scott Pruitt moving to lower the window net. That is certainly good news, because that was a hard shot.
But that's Kurt Busch right there. He stopped his car on the back straightaway right there to check on Scott Pruitt.
A happy winner, and yet a lot of concern for a hard crash after Bobby Hamilton gets together right about here with Sebastian Bourdais.
Just not enough racetrack there.
And Pruitt is sent. Look, he's steering hard to the right. Can't regain control, and just past the end of the safer barrier.
Just past it.
He takes the hardest shot as Hamilton also goes into the wall.
But guys, I want to commend Kurt Busch right there. He stops his car, I mean, almost immediately gets out to check on his fellow competitor.
He knew that was a hard lick.
He knew it was a hard lick.
And this almost happened the lap before there. See Hamilton? It's almost like Hamilton came down a little bit, moved up a little bit, and it was on from there.
And a young driver who was racing short tracks in his native Northeast just a couple of seasons ago is now an IROC winner. Welcome back to Atlanta, where Martin Truex has just become the 48th driver in 29 years to win a Crown Royal IROC event. He's the second first-time winner this season, joining Sebastian Bourdais, the Texas winner. And Scott Pruitt is okay. He climbed from his car, had a little limp as he went to the ambulance, but he is all right after a hard crash. Here's Matt Yoakum.
And the second first-time winner in International Race of Champions, the Crown Royal IROC Series in 2005. And Martin, what a way to win your first IROC with a hold off the champion Mark Martin, a host of others in your mirror.
Man, that was awesome. First, I got to congratulate Mark. He does a heck of a job in these things, and I was real nervous with him behind me on that restart. But just a lot of fun. I got to thank everybody for letting us do this. This is just a blast, and you know, everybody at Crown Royal, Jay Signori, his whole IROC team, and just a lot of fun, man. And you know, it's one of these things that you grow up dreaming of doing, and to win one is real special.
And it has to be special also. The IROC guys are from Jersey. You're from Jersey. You've always dreamed about this.
Yeah, you know, I've had some tough luck in this series this year, and I think they gave me a little something extra today. This car was really good. A lot of guys were tight, and I wasn't really tight as a lot of them. So just a lot of fun. I got to thank them all. This was really, really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Hopefully I'll be back next year, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe Mark will lead me back and we can race for it again. It'd be awesome.
Almost like Wall Stadium at some point. So much bump drafting, so much beating and banging, bouncing off the wall.
It was wild. You know, like the 5th lap, I bounced off the wall up there. In 1 and 2, I was real tight, but it was just a lot of fun. I found a groove that worked for me. Once I got clean air on my nose, I was in good shape. But, man, these things are fun. You can bump. They feel like they got a big sponge for a front bumper. You just run in everything. It's cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Martin Truex Jr. scores his first Crown Royal IROC Series victory in the season finale.
When'd you ever hear that before? You just run into everything. It's cool. Good for him. We'll have the presentation of the Crown Royal IROC Championship trophy and award for 2005 next. You're looking at the Red Horse Racing entry of Brandon Witt. This Toyota will start 3rd, right where the youngster finished last week at Martinsville. Mike Skinner and point leader Ted Musgrave will lead him down to the green flag in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series coming up next, right here on Speed. Final points in Crown Royal IROC 29. Martin Truex's win vaults him to 2nd place.
He did everything he could do. He won the first segment, he led the most laps, and he won the race. But Mark Martin, 2 firsts, 2 seconds in 4 races this year. That's the reason he's the 2005 champion.
It's unbelievable.
And let's meet the new and once again king of IROC.
A history-making day for Mark Martin. We begin our championship celebration with the trophy presentation, Mark. Right behind us, Mark Hubler, to present the champion's hardware. Mark?
Thank you. Mark, how are you?
Hey, man,
nice to meet you.
Thank you.
On behalf of Crown Royal and everyone at Diageo North America, we wanted to thank you very much and congratulations on being a champion. Thanks. Appreciate it.
I can't tell you guys how much it means to me. Thank you guys so much. It's just awesome to have you, Crown Royal associated with IROC. I've been, you know, had the good fortune of racing with them for 15 years on and off when I can get invited, and this is really a special day for me. And thank you guys for being a part of it.
And now if we can have Greg Beyer step in and present the check. This is what we've been waiting for. $1 million. 4 races this year. They've all been battling. And Mark, a big, big check.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Just want to thank Crown Royal and everybody at IROC, Goodyear, and all the people that have supported IROC all these years. You know, we've won a few of these championships, but we never won something like this. And the coolest thing about all the years that I've raced IROC is the opportunity to hang out like Max Pappas just came by. All the great drivers, Emerson Fittipaldi, you name it. I mean, Al Unser Jr., all these guys, a chance to hang out with them at the drivers' meeting and spend a little time with them is probably the coolest thing about the whole deal.
You have done so much throughout your entire storied career. Where does today's championship, which adds to your others, but also your race wins this year, taking the all-time win record, where does all of this stack up?
I think, wake me up. I'm pretty sure I'm dreaming. It is definitely the highlight of my driving career, no question in my mind. This is the greatest accomplishment of my career, and in the sense of most pride. I mean, I'm most proud of this than anything that I've ever done in racing.
And by the way, Greg Beyer right behind you, he's the guy that is going to sign that $1 million check. Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you.
In his last 9 years of IROC competition, Mark Martin has finished either 1st or 2nd in the points in every one of those years. A tremendous accomplishment. We'll be right back. Speed Channel coverage of the Crown Royal IROC Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway is presented by Crown Royal. Be a champion, drink responsibly. Mark Martin told me last week that, you know, the chance to win $1 million means a lot more to him now than it might have 5 or 10 years ago, because his chances to make that much money pretty much dwindle once he climbs out of the cockpit.
But I'm going to tell you, to watch the force he drove with since the drop of the green flag back at Daytona in February, that's been fun to watch.
It's been a lot of fun to watch, and the main thing I want to echo about Mark Martin is the word respect. All those guys in that garage area respect this man tremendously for his accomplishments, his humbleness, and the willingness to help others. I mean, he is just a true champion in so many different ways.
And just like he was excited about racing with the Fittipaldis and Andretti's, these young fellows are excited to race with him.
Amen.
We've enjoyed presenting the Crown Royal IROC Series to you, and once again, Scott Pruitt is okay, favoring his left leg as he climbed from his car and hopped into the ambulance. We'll be back beginning in Daytona 2006 right here on Speed Channel with the 30th anniversary of the Crown Royal IROC Series. Can't wait.
I can't either. And, you know, I still think another one of the highlights was Sebastian Bourdais winning at Texas. No heavy car experience. That was fun to watch.
It's been fun to watch all year long, guys, whether it's here, Texas, Daytona, or Richmond. We've seen some great racing, a lot of excitement, and we've really realized how great these champions are.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is next live on Speed. On behalf of everyone involved with Crown Royal, IROC, and the host racetracks and Speed Channel. Thanks for joining us for Crown Royal IROC 29.